Hey everyone, it's Delana. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about the whole Harvey Weinstein saga and the upheaval of his case. His case was overturned in New York on a 4-3 decision, saying that he did not have a fair trial. Candace Owens is doing a deep dive into this, and I thought it's been very interesting. I have my thoughts on that, the whole Me Too movement, and how women should react when they're in these kind of situations. Gwyneth Paltrow, to me, had a great response to this. She talks about in this video, I wanted to show you how she reacted to her unwanted advances from Harvey Weinstein when she was in a room alone with him. So uh, take a quick look. I think it's a great kind of powerful message to women and, what to do when you're in these bad situations. So take a look.
One instance in a hotel room where he made a pass at me. And then I really kind of stood up to him. I told my boyfriend at the time,
Brad Pitt,
who,
by the way, I love him for this.
I love him for this too.
You told him, hey, Harvey just did something really weird. And Harvey's moves are weird.
It was weird.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Here's a guy he's like a dad to you.
Yeah, I was shocked.
When you tell Brad says, fuck this guy, I'm going to go over and confront him.
So what happened was I told him right away, and I was very shaken by the whole thing. And I had 2 movies. I'd signed up to do 2 movies with him.
And were you afraid that the movies would be canceled? Or
I
you would
was
be
afraid.
Yeah, sure, because this was a good thing.
And Brad Pitt, we were at the opening of Hamlet on Broadway that Ralph Fiennes was in Hamlet, and Harvey was there, and Brad Pitt, it was like the equivalent of throwing him against the wall, energetically. It was like...
Were you afraid, though? Was it really, great guy, Brad Pitt, for doing that. But at the same point, too, it's your story. It's your relationship with Harvey. As most guys do, they take action.
Right.
When you come home and say, Harvey just did a weird thing to me, I'm going to do something.
Yeah.
Maybe you weren't even looking for that. Like he took it upon himself to confront Harvey.
It was so fantastic because what he did was he leveraged his fame and power to protect me at a time when I didn't have fame or power yet.
Right. Wow. It moves you.
Yeah. It was fantastic.
Good for him.
Yeah, he's a good person.
Oh, you must have just, I guess part of me was like, well, who's Brad Pitt to take up your cause? You didn't tell him to do that, but at the same point,
oh my gosh,
it was very heroic.
And Harvey was never inappropriate with me again.
Wow. I just like Brad Pitt sticking up for you.
He's the best.
Wonder what he said. Did he ever tell you what he said to Harvey?
Yeah, because he came back and told me exactly what he said.
And was he like, fuck you.
Yep.
You ever lay a hand on my girlfriend, I'm going to kill you.
He said, if you ever make her feel uncomfortable again, I'll kill you, or something like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What stands out to me in that video with Gwyneth Paltrow is that she just realized that she's in a bad situation and she just doesn't stand for it, and she gets up and walks out. And I think that is so telling, and tells someone who she trusted, being Brad Pitt. And I just love the way he responded, as most men should or would, but completely stood up for her. So one, stand up for yourself right away. Get yourself out of the situation, no matter what the consequences are. Like she said, her consequence could have been losing 2 movies, but she knew in her soul, like, I got to get myself out of this situation. I don't, like, the movies are secondary. I need to get myself out of the situation, put myself in a safe place. And she went home and told her boyfriend, which is the best thing that you can do. And that's, if anything, if I can teach my daughter, is to do exactly that. We can't always prevent ourselves from getting into bad situations, but it's how we handle it when we get there. And to be strong and get yourself out of that is what you need to do. One thing, having listened to Candace Owens and this whole case with Harvey Weinstein, is this, what's her, Miriam Haley, and this is where she's calling out bullshit, and I call bullshit on these Me Too movement things. Like, she had that bad experience with him where she's calling on abuse, and this is what she's going to trial for, or went to trial for, and won. But the whole time she talks about the timeline. Well, this happened, way back here. You had this bad experience where you feel like you've been, harassed, abused, but then going forward, you fly back to LA with him. You meet him at the hotel. by calling his assistant. In your notebook, you got hearts and stuff in your calendar. You call him and ask for tickets to a movie at the Cannes Film Festival. Like, these are things that women don't do if they've been harassed by a man and you feel uncomfortable with a man. You just don't do all those things. You don't keep the relationship going. You get the hell out. And that's where I call bullshit on a lot of these Me Too movement things. And women can just call Me Too, like the Blake Lively's of the world, and that they just expect us all to believe them. And it's just, some is true and some's not true. But what is so disheartening to me is the women that call the fake Me Too or the fake bullshit harassment cases are always trying to play the victim, but it really kind of downplays the true victims. There are victims of SH and SA. There are really true victims of that. I've been put in really bad situations that they could not get out of. And those are the true victims. But these false allegations of these harassments, and then they keep kind of going back and, keep in touch with the man that you say you're been abused. I've talked to people that have been in these situations. They want to get as far away from that person as possible. They have triggering things that, they smell the cologne that that person wore, and it just sends them off into a tither. You know, have this woman, as she goes through this lawsuit, it's like, you kept in contact with this guy. You kept asking him for stuff and for favors, and you seem to have a relationship with this person after you claimed that you were harassed way back when. So I just don't get it. And like I said, I know we talk about from the boy's point of view because I'm also a boy mom, and unfortunately, we don't want our boys to be stuck in a situation where we're falsely accused. But also, most importantly, and this is what I want to talk about in this video, is the women. Like, I have a 15-year-old girl. Starting from the beginning, getting in her head to not be a victim, to stand up for yourself, to have a set of balls. Don't get yourself in these situations. Get yourself out of it. Don't worry about the consequences. Stand up for yourself. I back her 100%. I was watching, I'm a big hot yoga person, so I was watching the documentary on the Bikram yoga, and it was not flattering for him at all. And apparently, there was a lot of these allegations in this movie as well. It's on Netflix. And one of the girls was talking, I just got infuriated. She's like, and I think my daughter was there and she was younger. And she's like, he calls me to his hotel room at like 3 o'clock in the morning to come and rub his feet. And she goes to his hotel room at 3 o'clock in the morning to rub his feet. And I'm like, what? Are you out of your flipping mind? I said to my daughter, I go, if any man who you work for asks you to go to his hotel room at 3 o'clock in the morning, he doesn't want you to just rub his feet. Come on, let's not be so naive. And this is a grown ass woman. And she said, oh, the reason I'm coming out is because I want to protect my daughter. And I'm like, protect it? Like, why did you go there in the first place? You really should have thought about it. I hope to God you're teaching your daughter that don't even go there in the first place. Don't go there and then claim that he was inappropriate. Don't go there. There's a little clip I'll show you of what's her name? Anyways, she's a rock star, and I'll just play it for you right here. But she says, if Harvey Weinstein invites you to Courtney Love, she says, if Harvey Weinstein invites you to a party in the Hollywood Hills, don't go. Like, don't even don't go and then claim afterwards. Anyways, I'll play it for you right here. It's really quick.
So spoken out. A video of the rock star in 2005 came out showing the star warning young women in Hollywood about the movie Titan.
Harvey Weinstein invites you to a private party and overseas. Okay.
I also talk about the whole thing with Trump. I was listening to this woman talk about, some of her charges against Trump and how he was inappropriate. And we drive to Canada and back from Arizona and back. So I listen to a lot of podcasts and talk radio and stuff. So this woman was talking on there about how she was trying to get a job with Trump. He said, okay, we'll set up, an interview. Then he says, okay, well, let's just do it at my house. And first I'd be like, I don't think I would do that, especially if I've heard of his past discretions before, or had any kind of like, oh, that's weird. If you're trying to get a job with someone, don't go to their house. Just don't. Just keep it to an office or a public place. That's number one. And then she says she shows up at his house and he has a robe on and he's the only one there. Then I would not go in. Like, then she says, then I went in. And then she says, then he wants me to go into the bedroom. I'm like, at what point do you say no? Like, then you just keep going and take the next layer and layer going. And like, at one point, you got to stop and say, no, I don't care about the job. I'll get another job. It's not that important. But I guess what's important to me with this whole Me Too movement is to not just be the victim. Really think about being proactive and not putting yourself in a difficult situation. I even made my daughter watch the whole the movie about Jared, the subway guy, and what it talked about, what I wanted to get at her, what I wanted her to get out of that was the grooming. You know, step one, if someone starts talking to you about something that's inappropriate, you stop, you get out of that situation, you come home and tell me. Like, they shouldn't be saying things like, if it makes you feel uncomfortable, I don't care what it is, you need to tell somebody, get yourself out of that situation. She's very young, so at that point she needs to tell an adult. As an adult, if someone makes you feel uncomfortable, you step away. You tell them you're uncomfortable, you step away. But this whole Me Too movement thing has just been, it's unfortunate because I feel like it just, like I said, it just puts women in the victim mode mentality. This whole Miriam Haley lawsuit with Harvey Weinstein, there's no doubt that guy is a creep, and he's probably done a lot of bad things. There's no doubt about it. But with this particular lawsuit, when you look at her charges and the fact that she kept going back to him and kept going back, and all these messages between the two of them, meeting up at his hotel, asking for things, like, you just don't do that. So I'm with Candace on this one. Like I said, there's no doubt he's probably a creepy bad guy and has done some horrible things. But if we're talking about this one case that he's being charged for, it just doesn't seem legit to me. And all the people, she was saying that all these people got to testify, that just kind of piled on, and he did not testify on his own behalf, and they're trying to call him out on that. But I really don't think he should. And if that's his tactic, that's his tactic. It doesn't really make him guilty. But anyways, my point of this video is to just talk to all the women out there and just be strong. Don't get yourself in these situations. As moms, I think we really need to teach our daughters to not play the victim, to be responsible for their actions, be responsible for putting themselves in bad situations, getting yourselves out of them. And that's why I've always said to my daughter, no matter what, I'll always stand behind you. She, at school, some boy always said to her, I guess he called her fat in a little roundabout way, kind of said, oh, it doesn't look like you work out or something like that. And she kind of went off to him. She said she followed him into his science class, and I guess knocked his glasses off his face. And she's like, don't ever talk to say that about me again. But she got in trouble, and I had to go in, and I like, as much as maybe it wasn't the right thing to do, I'm just proud of you for standing up for yourself. I've been trying to find the clip of, there's a Charlie, my boyfriend watches 2.5 Men all the time, and there's a clip of Charlie, and he's playing the piano, and Jake and his friend come in with 2 girls, and he was playing some jingle for them, and it wasn't a good one. So that was kind of what this game was all about. And then there's 2 girls, and Jake and his friend, there's a blonde and a brunette. And then as they're turning around to leave, Charlie says to Jake, hey, Jake, he goes, take the one on the right. And he's like, why? And he goes, that's my superpower. So I just really find it interesting how women portray themselves. And I keep telling my daughter, I've shown her that scene. I said, don't ever be the girl on the right. Don't be the girl on the right. And that means standing up tall, standing up for yourself. It's how you walk into a room. It's how you present yourself. Just don't be the girl on the right. That's all I'm saying. Don't be the girl on the right. So anyways, please like, subscribe, share. Just love to hear your comments on these videos. Love to hear your side of the story. what you guys think of the whole Me Too movement. I'm really interested because I know unfortunately, there's some women who are really true victims out there. And unfortunately, with the Me Too movement, I think that it's just been overdone and oversaturated, and the ones that have really need that support and the real victims out there are just not getting the support that they need because it's just been so saturated by these stories of women that kind of went in trying to get something out of a rich older guy and then wants to call this afterwards and has kind of reaped all the benefit from that. But the real people that have been in these situations in really bad times, I just don't think it's fair. So, anyways, let me know in your comments below. Really like to hear your point of view. Thanks. Bye.